My engagement to Junior is off. I called it off because of the allegations of him being with an underage female. I don't agree to that only because my daughters are underage and I will never put my daughters in nobody's way of trying to hurt them or anything. No predator, no nothing.
Here's where I have a complete disagreement with everything that she just said. She literally brought this guy around her daughters. Instantly, all up on him, feeling on her body. And no matter what way you want to view that, that's grooming behavior.
Trevino just rushed through an entire relationship storyline. 1 minute, she's showing off an engagement ring, talking wedding plans, acting like a protective mom. Then suddenly, trashing the ring and saying the whole thing was a fake. I'm not even shocked she flipped. It's how fast she did it and how many times the story changed in a week. That's wild. If you weren't paying close attention, you probably missed half the twists. Let's slow it down and go through the mess step by step because the "I did it for my daughter's" excuse doesn't match what we saw, and it really says a lot about how far people will go for clout on TikTok.
So, for now, my life and my kids' life is what means the most to me. And I will not be putting nobody in my kid's life that do not need to be in my kid's life. And Junior doesn't even know that I'm talking to y'all because I didn't tell him I was talking to y'all in live. But that is why I'm not wearing the ring. And I'm keeping my daughter safe. I am not going to involve my kids or me into anything that does not need to be involved. And if y'all don't accept that, y'all don't accept that. Fuck y'all. And fuck your mama. Basically. But like I said,
here's a quick rundown as it stands right now. Ash flaunted an engagement to Junior, a days-old boyfriend. They even locked in a wedding date just 2 months out. That wedding is off now, with Ash claiming it was because allegations surfaced that Junior had been involved with a 17-year-old when he was already in his 20s. She frames the breakup as protection for her daughters, yet she had already invited Junior into the same home where her daughters live and introduced him to family. She also says she never wanted a legal marriage and had even planned for someone to object at the ceremony, which immediately calls into question the authenticity of the whole storyline. The engagement ring? She called it cheap, threatened to flash it, and yet previously bragged that the cost didn't matter. She admits she was emotionally attached to Uncle Fester during all of this, openly stating she was with him while being engaged to Junior. Junior himself had just been released from jail for throwing rocks at ICE agents during a protest, according to her. Within days, he was on one knee in front of Ash for a proposal video. On top of that, there is the money angle. Ash claims Junior asked for $1,000 to cover lawyer, got jealous about her spoiling Fester, and leaned into collabing with her for clout. So here's a problem we're unpacking. Was this ever a real romance, or was it a clout-chasing skit that backfired? And why were kids and family folded into the content pipeline? The details are honestly wild, guys. Ash comes out swinging, saying the engagement ended because of Junior's alleged history with an underage girl. She frames it with a sense of duty. I have underage daughters, so I can't bring someone like that near them.
Hey you guys, okay, so I went on live earlier. If y'all didn't see it, here I'll go. My engagement to Junior is off. I called it off because of the allegations of him being with an underage female. I don't agree to that only because my daughters are underage and I would never put my daughters in nobody's way of trying to hurt them or anything. No predator, no nothing. My family does come first, and my babies especially, and my career. So I will not be marrying Junior anymore. This is what I have come to, and honestly, it was a real wedding. We were going to get married. I was about to go wedding dress shopping, everything. But with all the allegations that just came out recently, I will not be marrying him no more. I am going to put my life and my career first, and my kids, of course. I don't need nobody involving my daughters in anything that is going to harm us or them. And so with that being said, he is out of the picture. Okay, so from now on, what I do is my happiness means the most to me, whether that is being single or doing what I'm doing, okay? Remember, I do social media for a living, so everything that I do on social media is for social media. But y'all don't know me in real life, so y'all can judge me all y'all want, but y'all don't know the real Ash Trevino. The only ones that know Ash Trevino in real life are the friends and family. And who I am on the internet is not who I am in person, because I can care less. But yes, this engagement is officially off, and I called it off. So, yes, my kids come first, no matter what. So, y'all want to know everything? Okay, so I just told y'all basically what happened, right? Okay, well, a lot of y'all's questions are, why? I never knew what he was accused of, okay? And again, like I said, my heart is going to follow where my heart wants to be. My heart was never with Junior. My heart was always with somebody. And I'm not going to say who that person is. But my heart was already with somebody and loved somebody. And with my heart loving that person, stop. I couldn't be happy with anybody else.
On the surface, that sounds like a responsible decision. But here's where the contradictions start piling up. Just days before making this announcement, she had taken Junior to her parents' house, rubbed up on him in front of her kids, and even let him FaceTime them repeatedly. The protective mom line sounds powerful and dramatic, but the receipts tell a completely different story.
I took him to go see my kids. He's the one who kept pushing it. We were at the bar, and he was like, I want to go see your kids. I want to go see your kids. How far do you live from here? And I was like, they're down the street. And he was like, can I go see them, please? He asked me that day that he met my kids. Then he asked me the next day. He was like, before I leave, I want to go see your kids. Can you FaceTime them? See what they're doing. Asking him to see my kids.
She tries to separate her online persona from her real life, saying, I only do social media for a living. It's not who I really am. That's a convenient line to drop when the backlash comes rolling in. But the problem is that Ash herself has already blurred those boundaries. Once your kids are woven into the storyline, you can't retreat into the excuse that it's just content. Next, we have the Walmart ring saga. Ash literally went with Junior to buy the ring, watching him pick it out, and yet on camera, she still performed shock and awe when he proposed.
And what do you think?
I like you.
You like me?
Yeah.
You sure? Positive?
I'm positive.
But I do want to ask you something. Let me get that real quick. I'm a little nervous. Would you marry me?
Oh my god. Are you for real?
She even admitted later that Junior was being coached, told how to hold her hand, how to kneel down, how to time the words. It wasn't spontaneous, it wasn't heartfelt, it was staged. And while staging might not be unusual for TikTok content, it becomes absurd when you're trying to convince thousands of viewers that this is real love. Then comes the bizarre pivot. Suddenly, she insists she never wanted a legal marriage in the first place. She even claims she had already arranged for someone to object at the ceremony to stop it from happening.
Because Junior's not who I wanted. I even told him, I'm like, so after we get married, how long are we going to wait until we get divorced? I was actually already planning for somebody to come ruin the wedding and be like, I object. She's not marrying you. Like, just for a plot twist, because I didn't want to legally get married. Especially to somebody so young, somebody that I don't know, and somebody that gets told their every move by their boyfriend.
Meanwhile, she was allegedly lying in bed with Uncle Fester while talking to Junior about wedding details.
The other night, I was talking to Junior on the phone at like 2 in the morning, 1 in the morning. And I'm laying next to Fester. Literally. And I thought he was going to hear him snoring. Because he's like, who's that? Who you with? I said, nothing, I'm at my house by myself.
On one hand, she says she never went beyond kisses with Junior. On the other hand, the same receipts show her pushing for intimacy while he actively avoided her. Once again, her words and her actions don't line up, leaving the audience stuck in a cycle of contradictions. The ring meltdown followed quickly after. Initially, she was overjoyed about it, declaring the cost didn't matter, saying she'd be happy even if it were a ring pop.
Show the ring. It's little, you guys. It's little. This is all he could afford, okay? We don't make money on TikTok anymore. It's little, you guys. It better not turn my finger green. If it turns my finger green, I'm gonna be mad. It doesn't matter what kind of ring it is. It could have been from the candy shop and I would be happy. Like, it could have been a ring pop.
But then, almost overnight, she flipped, calling the rings cheap, threatening to flush them down the toilet.
I didn't want him. They literally asked me to legally marry Junior. And I was like, what? And the manager was the one that was like marriage license and everything. He's like, yeah. I'm like, I was like, oh my God.
She never actually showed the flash. Instead, the rings were left sitting on the sink. The so-called symbolic flash turned out to be just another piece of manufactured drama, an empty gesture meant to generate views rather than closure. Then we hit the money and clout angle. According to Ash, Junior asked her for $1,000 to cover his lawyer's fees. She says she refused, and she made sure to highlight that she was busy promising Uncle Fester expensive gifts like a Rolex and a truck.
Buy Renee a new truck and a Rolex. He was like, this was the second day. He goes, you're gonna buy him a Rolex and a new truck and you're marrying me? Are you with me? I'm like, I've known Renee for almost 6.5 months. This is the man I lived with for like 4 months. This is the man I fuck every day. This is the man I love. I'm in love with him, not with you. And you can't compare to him. And he's like, excuse me, he's like, give me $1,000 to pay my lawyer. I told his manager, I said, do you know he asked me to pay $1,000 on his lawyer?
To her, that request was proof that Junior and his boyfriend, shop manager, were only around for clout. The irony, of course, is that she willingly collabed with him, fully aware that he had just been released from jail and was connected to a boyfriend. Optimism was driving both sides. Finally, Junior's background adds important context. He was released from jail on August 22nd after serving time for throwing rocks at ICE agents during a protest. Within days, he is suddenly proposing on TikTok, spinning up honeymoon talk, and tying himself to Ash in front of an audience.
All right, love. So where do you want to go for honeymoon?
Let's do Hawaii.
Hawaii? Why Hawaii? What's so interesting in Hawaii though?
All this while still being tied to another relationship. Junior looked like someone scrambling for relevance after prison. Ash, on the other hand, looked desperate for a new arc to keep her own name in circulation. Together, the result wasn't romance. It was combustible performance art waiting to blow up in both their faces. The deeper I dig into this story, the more disturbing it gets. Throughout the drama, she's left plenty of receipts behind, and I've pulled them together here to give more context to this already wild mess. Ash says she ended it because Junior had dated a 17-year-old when he was older. If that was really the boundary, why were you already letting him FaceTime your girls and meet your family before you even knew who he really was? You can't scream, I am protecting my daughters, and then hand deliver a stranger to them on camera. What I do online is for social. It's not my real character. So, if this is just a character, why are your actual daughters being pulled into the storyline like props for the plot? She went shopping with him, then acted shocked during the proposal. How is that even supposed to be believable? They literally rehearsed it like a skit. It looked staged from the jump, and nobody watching thought it was real for a second. She brags about lying in bed with Festa while talking to Junior. It's basically telling on yourself. showing the whole thing was nothing more than scripted filler with zero real feelings behind it. And honestly, this is the reason people are fed up with Fester too. Doing embarrassing stuff like this on camera and expecting viewers to just look away. For Ash, as a mom, it's humiliating not just for her, but for her kids and family too. Calls the rings cheap, threatens to flash them, never shows it. It came off like a big dramatic tantrum with no real punchline. Loud for the camera, but empty once you look closer. She was the same one hyping up that freeing days earlier, saying the cost didn't matter. Now suddenly it's trash. That flip-flop just shows her true colors. Junior supposedly asked her for lawyer money. If you didn't even trust him enough to hand over a dime, what sense did it make to start planning a whole wedding around him? It's obvious both of them just wanted a viral moment. Now she's spinning it into, he asked me for money. Like that changes anything. It's laughable. She's only stretching the drama to keep her viral moment alive. The moment everything really spirals is when Ash tries to reframe the whole disaster of an engagement as some noble act of maternal protection. On paper, that sounds heroic, but in reality, it's a flat-out contradiction. The receipts show her parading Junior in front of her kids, shoving him into family introductions, and literally making them part of her circus for views. Then she pivots to, I never wanted it anyway, and throws it at the staged ring flash. At that point, it's not a breakup. It's her using her kids as props and shields while she embarrasses her own family. That's not protection. That's exploitation, dressed up as content. Well, my first theory is simple. That whole proposal was staged from the jump. The honeymoon talk came right after. The wedding date was set within few weeks, and she even lined up with chisme pages to live stream the so-called ceremony. None of this looked like romance. It looked like rollout content built for clicks. If there really was something genuine, we would see private, off-camera moments instead of back-to-back broadcasts. And that's the issue. When clout is the real relationship, the kids and the family stop being protected and start being used as part of the storyline. My second theory is that the sudden pivot, I never wanted marriage, someone was going to object, I was with Vesta all along, was nothing but damage control that only came out once the storyline blew up in her face. If she really felt that way from the start, we would see proof of it in the early receipts. But instead, we saw her hyping the proposal and planning the wedding. This switch up shifts the blame onto everyone else while dodging responsibility of her own reckless choices. My third theory. She constantly drags out her daughters as the excuse for ending things. But at the same time, she's the one putting them in front of random men, letting them sit through adult mess and pulling them into TikTok drama they should never be part of. If she really was about protecting them, we'd see consistent boundaries, not this back and forth. What it really looks like is she's using the kids as props to justify a bad choice, embarrassing them and her whole family in the process. Every time she changes a story, people believe her less. Viewers start rolling their eyes instead of taking her seriously. When kids get dragged into adult drama over and over, it's only a matter of time before TikTok steps in and limits or suspends accounts. Nobody wants to work with someone who trashes every partner on their way out. It makes her look messy and unsafe to collab with. Ash keeps burning through people and chances. Every time, she comes off more unstable and it makes her options smaller. Will Junior clap back with his own receipts? Does that underage allegation go legal? Could CPS or family step in? All stare up in the air. This isn't just internet drama. It shows how chasing clout can turn families and kids into content, and that's why people are fed up. If your wedding plan involves lining up someone to object, pretending to flash a ring, and still keeping another guy on the side, that's not a wedding. That's just a TikTok storyline. What do you think? Did Ash actually end it for her kids' safety? Or was this just the easiest way to back out once the whole stunt fell apart? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear what you think.